Hello and welcome to this edition of Business Spotlights. I'm Reza Koda, Digital Action Coach, and I'm thrilled to be joined today by special guest Neal Dodd, the MD of the Letterbox Consultancy. Hi Neal, welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Great to meet you. So Neal, I'd like to just jump straight in. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, and what it is that you do?
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so our business is called the Letterbox Consultancy. We've been in operation now for over 28 years, primarily as a door drop planning and buying agency. So that entails planning the distribution of anything unaddressed that comes through your door, mostly leaflets, but often things like magazines and catalogues and those types of things. And as we've grown and worked with bigger brands in the UK, that service extends to things like direct mail that would be addressed to you and the arrangement of the printed material itself. But door drop is very much our specialist function that we offer to brands and is what we're known for.
Great. And I know this business has been going for quite a few years, and you didn't start the business. I think your father did, but how was your initiation to the business? What challenges did you face when you joined? Because obviously you've taken over as the MD of the business.
Yeah, yes, that's right. I mean, my dad started the business, as I say, over 28 years ago now, and he's very sort of well respected and experienced member of what is a relatively small sector. So I think one of the challenges for me, as well as learning my trade, I mean, I came from a sales promotions agency, so I wasn't completely naive to all of what was happening here, but very much had to learn my trade when I joined. But I think probably the biggest challenge for us was that I was joining a family business. At the time, it really was just my parents. Yeah. And you know, my dad was getting to a point where he was thinking about retirement and what that looks like. But obviously, I'm joining a business and thinking about what does the next 40 years hold, and what does growth look like. So the biggest challenge for us as a family has been to really change that business from a family business into a specialist agency that has staff and works with bigger brands and has a proper plan for the future, which has gone really well. You know, touch wood, it's all gone to plan at the moment and things have gone well. But that was probably the biggest transition that the business has gone through.
Great, yeah, absolutely. I can definitely see how, you know, you've made that change from the legacy business into your vision of it. Was there a significant turning point that kind of changed the business from where it was and to where it is now?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few sort of moments in the last 10 years that have probably been notable. I think from a personal perspective, we were, as a family business, we were operating out of residential property, and because we had designs to bring in staff, we had to actually have a proper office and start recruiting. So I think from a personal perspective, things changed. The dynamics of the office and of the relationship between myself and my parents changed once we had a proper office environment and started bringing staff in, and probably gave me more of a platform to take responsibility for growth and move the business forward. Which I hope has gave my dad the confidence really to start easing off what he was doing. But I think that was quite a big stepping stone for us, and that has then led to us being just a bit more professional as a business, more systems in place that staff can come in and work within, which enables us to work with bigger brands and provide them with the services that our bigger competitors do, and ultimately has helped us grow from there.
Yeah, so you mentioned obviously that transition of going into an office environment and hiring people. I wanted to pick up on that point about the hiring. So how, what kind of qualities you look for when you hire your team, and how do you maintain that kind of togetherness as, you know, people working to the same goal?
Yeah, it can be tough, the recruitment process, particularly if you are interviewing. I think it's trying to actually uncover what the person who sat in front of you is really like is a challenge. I mean, for me, particularly as a small business, the biggest skill set, I think, is finding someone who's quite resourceful. I mean, we have a range of people here, and some work more independently than others. And I don't think that I wouldn't necessarily criticise someone if they perhaps need closer management than other people. But the ability to pick up a task and run with it, to make a mistake and learn from it and not make it again, to as I say, generally be resourceful in how they go about their day, for me is really important. And I think that translates into what we provide as a business. When brands trust us with their work, they want someone who will be proactive in the way that they do their job for them, and suggesting the right way of going about it and alternatives. So we've definitely achieved that, and our key people here are people who are resourceful and work well independently, and ultimately can take a task and pick up and run with it, and perhaps do a better job than we had envisaged when we first asked them to do something.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. The kind of entrepreneurial business, you need people who can, I guess, be multitasked one thing and then be able to hit the ground running, and being able to be flexible, because that's the nature of the business, right? It changes all the time, so you need people who can adapt to that flexibility. In terms of your industry and how you stay ahead, because I'm guessing that any kind of business working in a marketing environment tend to be working in quite a competitive environment. You know, there are other people doing similar things, and how do you kind of keep your competitive edge and stay ahead, and, you know, keep your eyes?
Yeah, well, I think, I mean, having had a complete marketing background, I mean, I think it would be a failure if we weren't able to market ourselves properly, given that we're here to help brands market themselves. And one of the key elements of that, really, I think, is understanding what your position is in the market and sticking to that principle throughout. And you know, we do have a couple of big competitors who are bigger than us, and would probably walk into a brand's office and talk about their size as a sort of benefit over working with us. But our size and our position in the market has always been about trust and quality and service, and we stay true to that. And to be honest, it's something that our competitors can't compete with, because we're better at it than they are. And there are things that we've tried to grow as a business and become more mature, and there are elements of the market that are probably more even across companies. But as an agency that's here to help brands and provide good turnaround times, high quality service, trusted service, the way that we've grown as a business has maintained that, and that's enabled us, I think, to retain the vast majority of our clients. And win some more to come in as well. And so I think that's where we're ahead of the market, and that's the way we intend to keep it, really.
Yeah, and so you kind of used your unique situation in terms of, you know, being small and resourceful and responsive to your advantage, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've got you know, I've been here 13, 14 years now, and obviously my dad has, you know, whilst he's not as involved in day to day, he's been in the industry over 50 years. We brought someone in a couple of years ago who has well over a decade of experience in print media. And as a small business, when brands work with us, they will be working with us day to day. Whereas if they work with a big agency, they may be working with an account team where there might be staff turnover and arguably that account person doesn't have the experience or frankly the care that we would have because it's my business.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's a positive, and I think most of our clients see it that way as well.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And are there any kind of emerging trends, any opportunities in new industries that you're kind of excited about, things that might change the way you do business with your clients?
Yeah, I think there's a couple. I mean, just from a pure door drop perspective, I mean, it's a challenge for print media because you know, in relative terms, it's an older form of marketing that has been around far longer than its digital counterparts. And if you talk about how clients advertise their business, many people will think about social channels and all things digital. So that's always a challenge, but the channel has, I think, undergone a bit of a change in the last 5 to 10 years, where a lot of the bigger users of the channel, and going back 20 years, you might be talking about big catalogue companies or bonus print, you know, film development companies who were putting out tens of millions of leaflets, perhaps in a week. The channel is not really used in that way anymore because of the fact that you can get mass reach with digital channels. And so I think that a lot of brands that are coming into the market to use door drop are using it more strategically rather than just blanket dropping, you know, whole regions of the UK. And that gives us an opportunity because we have the science and the experience to be quite targeted and be quite scientific with how the activities plan. It gives us an opportunity to work with those big brands who are looking for someone who's going to offer them a bit more than just a low price and blanket coverage. So actually it's become an opportunity, and some of our biggest clients are tech startup companies who can't get the reach that they need via other channels. So they need door drop and a printed channel, but they also need a supplier who offers them a bit more science and a bit more in the way of a thoughtful planning. So that, as a door drop channel, is a big opportunity for us. And then slightly as an aside, I think that the data behind the planning that we do is ever improving. And we do live in a world at the moment where data is quite a buzzword in marketing, and people are looking for what data you can apply to your targeting. And that is an opportunity in itself, because I think we've got good knowledge and good software that enables us to be quite detailed with what type of people we're targeting, and that takes us down different avenues of how we can help clients with their door drop and with other opportunities as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because normally you wouldn't think of a traditional method like the door drop as being a targeted form of marketing, but clearly it is, with the data behind it and the planning that you put into it. So I guess my final question is, where do you see yourself and the business in the next 3 to 5 years? What's the future hold for you?
Well, I mean, we've, as I say, we brought someone in a couple of years ago who's been fantastic for us and has come in with a real sort of growth mindset. And so I think from a door drop perspective, in the last 5 years or so, we've really picked up the number of big brands that we work with, and I hope and expect that to continue in the next 3 to 5 years because of the mentality of the people that are here and the capabilities that we have. So I think our door drop business, fingers crossed, will continue to go from strength to strength, because we found the right recipe of being small and agile, but also being credible to provide big brands with what they need. But as a separate project to that, the data side of things that I referred to is becoming a value in itself. And so I think that as a business, we have an opportunity there to become more than just a door drop agency, and to be able to offer people some of the science and the knowledge of data for their own businesses to use in other ways, such as buying other types of media. That won't be under the Letterbox Consultancy brand, because I think it is important to be clear of what you stand for, and we are a door drop agency. But I think as a separate division, it's an opportunity to create a new revenue stream and work with a different client base, but effectively utilizing the skills and the software that we have here and selling it in a different way for different purposes. So those are probably our two visions at the moment in different parts of the business.
Yeah, absolutely. So and I wish you all the success, both for the core business and hopefully the new business that you're thinking about launching. So just wanted to say that I really appreciate your time today. Really enjoyed our chat. Great to hear about your thoughts about the business and some valuable shares for everybody else. It was a real pleasure meeting you, Neal.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me. I've really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Neal.
Thank you.